Hi, Lee here. So, as you can see, I've got the guitar ready. I've drilled all the holes. So today I'm going to put the whole thing together, bolt all the bits on, get the electronics in, and let's see what it sounds like. So, as you can see, I've got my pickups, iron gear pickups I got. I think I mentioned I've got an overwound bridge on one of them. I've got a pre-made wiring harness, as you can see here, and I've got a push-pull on the tone pots to split the pickups. So I've got 4 wire pickups. I've had a look at the instructions, so I think I know what I'm doing. But instead of soldering the wires on for this one, because the way they've made the electronics is they've actually left the proper tags on them. So instead of soldering, I'm actually going to see if I can use some small non-solder clips instead. Just to connect the wires together, because I hate soldering, it's a mess. So if I can use these instead, and if it works okay, that would be really good. I've got my, is it Spurzl machine heads, so Spurzl tuners, Schaller strap locks, and some other bits and pieces like the nut and the jack plate as well. So I've already fed the earth for the bridge through the guitar into the control area. So the first thing I'm going to do is just to hold that wire in, I'm going to put the bridge in first, just so I can get something on there. And then I'll put the pickups in, feed the pickup cables through, and then I'll flip it over and we'll start going through doing the electronics. So let's get a closer look at this and I'll take you through step by step all of the different components as I add them. Hopefully you can see the earth wire that I've put in there. So I've drilled into the cavity. I've hooked the earth wire into the screw hole because I just guess it's going to be a good earth if the screws as well as the bridge is touching the bare wire. So all I need to do is just 3 screws for this. Let's just screw this in. Excellent. So that's that job done. The next job, let's get the pickups put in. So the pickups are in. I'll now flip it over and I'll start trying to put the electronics on. Right, so here's the wiring harness. So let's get this put in and get the cables routed correctly. Right, let's flip it back over and we'll start trying to get the electronics in. I've had a look at the wiring diagram and it's not quite the same, so I just had to double check where I put the connectors. So this grey outer cable here is the neck pickup. So as far as I can see, to get the switched coil capability, I need to have the white and the green cable connected together, and that connects to the switch part of the pot, and the red cable just connects on the main connector there. So that's what it appears to be. I've got nowhere to put the earth, so I will have to get the soldering iron out and just solder the earth onto the side with the other earth. But hopefully all I'll do is I'll just clip these connectors now to here, and that should be the first pickup done. I'm just going to give this a quick test just to make sure it works, and if it does then I'll tidy it up a bit and I'll solder the earths on. At the moment I've just put them through the earth loops, so hopefully there's enough contact just to make sure everything works, and if it all tests okay, I'll get the soldering iron out and I'll just solder those earths on and it should be good. It definitely all works, really good. Even though I've not soldered the earth on yet, it's actually earthed really well. There's no buzzes or sounds whatsoever. So I'm really pleased with this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to tidy it up a bit and make sure those clips are on nice and securely. I'm going to try and touch solder the earth onto each of the pots there. And then that's it, that's the electronics done. So let's carry on and try and tidy this up a bit. So that seems to be okay now. So what I'm going to do next, when I was building the guitar, just like the old one, I took a piece of the old oak I used for my very first Telecaster build, and I've just cut it to be the same shape so I've got a nice matching cover, if you like. As well as that electronics part, I also made a small piece to hide the cable, so I need to put that in first. And now I can screw this on. I also cut a small disc out for the electronics, so hopefully you can see that. But all I was going to do with this is I'm just actually going to glue that on, just very lightly with super glue, because you should never really have to access this, but if in the future I need to access that control for some reason, the best thing with super glue is if you just give it a tap, it usually breaks the super glue and this will just flip off. So I'll just put a few dots of super glue on later and just glue that into place. So I've now put it all together. I've also screwed in the jack plate. So the next step is I'm going to finish screwing these pickup retainers in. I've only got one screw in at the moment just to hold them there while I flip the guitar back and forth. So let's finish screwing that in and then we'll start constructing the bridge. The next step is to put the bridge together. So it just involves putting the screw and the spring through and then just screwing on that piece there. So I'll just do that now and I'll get these screwed in and that's the next job done. So would you believe it, there's always one. The screw thread in this isn't quite working correctly, so I'm just going to get a little bit of grease just to see if I can make that screw on a bit easier. It's almost going, but it's really tight and I don't want to ram the screw head off. So that's that done now. They're all in. The next step will be to move up to the headstock and I'll glue in the nuts and put in the tuners. So if you remember, I bought this adjustable nut just because I wanted it to match my bass guitar. So what I'll do now is I'll just glue this in. I've already sort of cut the groove and it should fit perfectly. So let's just glue that in now. Finally, let's get these tuners in and that will be the guitar pretty much finished. So I'll just put some strings on it, put the knobs on and I'll give it a test. So here it is, the finished guitar. I did do something slightly wrong with the electronics, so I've corrected that now. So if you've been watching, I actually had a wiring kit that is the modern version, so any Gibson modern guitar, it's just wired like that. But obviously the push-pulls on the tone is slightly different. I think quite often people put it on the volumes, but I wanted it on the tone. It feels good. It's pretty light considering there's a lot of wood in this. Everything's in tune, it feels good. So what I'll do is I will make another video just to give you more of the sounds of the guitar. But just for now, just to finish this video, this is what it sounds like. See you next video.